seen Wayne's World?
Yeah.
I was just thinking when they're like counting down, like.
Hi and welcome to this Facebook Live. I am here with Craig David and Dan from Bastille. They have got a new single out called I Know You. We'll put the link to that in the comments down below this video. That's also where you can send in your questions for the two of them. We've already had literally hundreds, one of the best responses we've ever had, so let's get stuck right in.
That's amazing.
I'm going to go first though. How did you guys get together? Who phoned who?
We've sort of known each other for a little while through, we met co-hosting a breakfast show on Radio 1 and sort of got to know each other from there onwards and saw each other lots of gigs and festivals, and I asked Craig to do some work on a mixtape that we're working on at the moment, and he was like, oh, I'm making my album, how do you fancy doing some writing together? And yeah, the song sort of just came out of an evening in the studio with us and a couple of other people, and yeah, it just was so much fun to make.
Just one evening?
Yeah, and it kind of, the stars aligned, because when we were trying to like work out when we could get in, and I was in the studio and was like, oh, you know, let me just make that call to dance. He had happened to be like 5 minutes down the road, literally in another session. Said, listen, I'll give you an hour and let me finish this and come over. And then the first song ends up being I Know You, and I hear that voice saying, I'm stumbling through the night. I'm thinking, yes, that's what I want to hear.
But
it was amazing.
It was, and I think what's really cool, just, you know, people who've, you know, having worked on a couple of albums, and for us and for other people, and Craig's obviously done a lot. Sometimes there are those songs that just come like instantly, and they're easy, and it wasn't a challenge, and it just, the song just came out of that, and ever since then we've just been kind of enjoying it, and now we get to release it, which is
amazing.
So let's go into that. Zosia, who's posted from Canberra in Australia, asks what inspired the lyrics to the song, and Christy Texan writes on Facebook, what were you drinking when you wrote it?
I think you're probably drinking like a protein shake.
You know me well.
Yeah.
Oh, pun. See, that's what I mean. The whole record is about.
That's the thing, and it wasn't a particularly like a rowdy session, but it was just really nice. Like the environment that Fraser, who produced the track, the environment that he fosters in his studio is just a really nice, chilled out, friendly one. Fraser and Craig have been mates for like a long time. Yeah. So stepping into that for me was really easy and comfortable. I think we just wanted to write something about friendship and something kind of uplifting. I was sort of keen to put a little bit of darkness or edge in there, but ultimately for it to be about, you know, a night out, speaking for a wider friendship, and you know, messing up and it being fine.
Yeah, because it's unusual to have two men on a duet.
Yeah. Sorry.
No. I was going to say that it's just, what I love about it is that it feels to me that, like on paper, it's like me working with you, and people are like, oh, okay, it's an interesting kind of combination. But the sentiment of the lyric just feels, and the melody that accompanies it, of people being able to look at your friend, and you're just like, we are in paradise together. It doesn't matter where we are. The environment falls away when we're together. And I just felt like a new friendship was happening, really, with us being creative in the studio as artists, but on a wider, I could just see people in so many different scenarios singing this song, from the song that you play when you're about to go out, the song that you're playing at a festival and you are a bit waved, or if you're in a pub with your mates or a football match, like, we're all stumbling through the night. It seems like it's just everyone's go-to tune, and the response to it has been amazing. But our friendship has grown from that moment. It was just an amazing moment to see you singing like those lyrics and those melodies. I'm thinking, Stan, man, listen to that voice. It's so unique.
And obviously, like, having been a huge fan of Craig's music, both me and the rest of the guys in the band for such a long time, it was kind of, we'd worked together before when Craig came and sang with us at the iTunes Festival, and we did, he jumped on one of our songs and we did one of his. 16.
Yeah, 16.
Yeah. And so that was just amazing, as an amazing experience, and it's just quite nice to be able to take that on both to this song and the tune that we've done on the mixtape. And I don't know, I think it's a really classic American thing to to collaborate all the time, and you meet people that you get on with and whose music you respect. And I think it feels much more natural in America for people to just sort of work on each other's tracks. And I think I'm big up for, like, in the UK, people doing that more. Like, it's nice. Yeah.
So we've got a lot of people asking, where's the music video? When are we going to see that?
Well, we shot the video last week. That was a vibe, man. Like, it flowed so naturally, and then somehow sort of a TS5 sort of party started going on. Like, literally, the mic was on, and it went from doing I Know You and that being like singing along to sync with the song to almost, how come you're now playing garage tunes in here now? How come we, like, literally went from...
It was incredible.
So it went massively over budget, is what you're telling me.
Massively over time, yeah, for sure. But I think the video, I'd like to see it this side of the year, but it may drop, like, fresh for 2018.
It was good. It was really fun. But it basically, like you said, it basically ended up at a TS5 show. Us lot and like all the other people that were in the video were like, this is happening. It was so much fun. Yeah.
So Kat has asked, can you describe that video in one word?
Incredible. I mean, we've not seen it yet, so that...
I'll roll with that. That you can't.
I don't know. Maybe like woozy. I think might be a good word for it. But we've not seen the first cut yet.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna.
So it could be another one.
So Sam's written on Twitter. He says, "What's it like to perform with each other on stage? Because you did the BBC Sound Like Friday Night last week. Because you're usually both solo. So how do you divide up the time?"
Do you know what it was? I mean, I loved it. It felt very natural. Like, it didn't feel like, okay, you sing your little bit and then you walk across over to that sort of part there. And it's like, we just felt like, you know what? When that drop comes into the tune, like we're both singing our elements, but when it comes to the drop, you almost naturally just have to just go with it. It's just, we did a rehearsal just to kind of make sure that we were comfortable, like, with the song. And then we heard it on a big system in that room, and it was just like, all I saw was just him looking at me smiling, and me smiling back, and just like, ooh, it was just that. It was like, well, that's the performance there in a nutshell. But yeah.
Because there's that thing like Axl Rose, when they do the 5-minute guitar solo in November Rain, he's really got to work the stage. Like, he has nothing to do for ages. So what do you do when it's not your line?
Well, I actually found myself, because obviously Craig starts the song, and I was just singing along. I was like, I really hope there's no cameras filming me, because I was like standing at the stage, like belting it out, obviously off mic. And then, like he said, you know, when the drop happens, it's kind of interesting that for one of the biggest bits of the song, neither of us are really singing. Yeah. But it's such a satisfying and surprising drop. I think that's one of the reasons why we both love the song so much. Yeah. And why people seem to, you know, I think there's that moment in the song where it feels like it's really euphoric and it feels like it's building towards somewhere. I think that's the moment, like you were describing, of mates, arms around each other, like, you know, positivity and all that, and then it just drops out, and suddenly you're like out, you're like transported to being out somewhere, and it just you can't really, like, I watched it back and I was like, obviously cringing at my dancing, but I couldn't help it. I was like,
no, you owned it, and I think there's a point, especially in that song, because I love to. My thing is, like, I fill gaps with ad-libs all the time, but with this song, it was being able to respect the space, and even for me, I had to just, like, calm myself down, because I could easily have been doing all the I know you, I know. I could have jumped. I feel naturally gravitate to do that, but to let it be was quite a euphoric moment for me, just to be like, okay, just let the bass ride. Yeah. Just let it go.
And it's like the production feels like it feels like the other part of the collaboration. You know, there's almost the three of us there, because that really has its own moment. And it's I think what's really cool is, like, you know, we both like a lot of music and we both like quite diverse music, but that kind of drop, I think, for both of us and for a lot of people hearing it, are like, ooh, like that. You know, I don't know what it is, but I love that.
Yeah. But it's a real, like, it's become a theme now in pop music. I think Katy Perry's Dark Horse is one of the first ones I heard, where you're building up to the chorus, and then the rug is pulled from underneath your feet, and the chorus isn't there.
The rug being pulled from underneath your feet. Yeah.
But it really makes you lean into the song, because I think your brain knows the structure of a song by
totally.
now.
And I think what I'm happy with the song is that it does give you, like, structurally, it's got, like, the verse, the pre, and the chorus. It just happens that the chorus is over a build, and then it goes somewhere completely different. And I feel like, as a massive geeky fan of pop music, like, I think you kind of get what you want from the song, and then the drop ends up being something kind of extra. But yeah, it's quite nice. I think because, you know, everyone listens to so much music throughout their lives, and we're all kind of versed in, like, how it should go, and it's quite nice to sort of mess with mess with expectations a little bit, and I think that's what the song does kind of quite effectively.
You've kind of answered this, but Pav and Mal on Twitter say whose idea was it to put that unexpectedly chill drop into the song? And Tabea on Facebook asked, were there any bits of the song you disagreed about, and how did you sort that disagreement out?
That tricky one over to you, Craig.
There was definitely no disagreements on the song. I think we were all looking for the same common goal.
Yeah.
And as soon as it hit the chorus, there was just smiles beaming around the studio, because you know when a melody is ticks the box, everything's building, and we didn't have the production fully in place at this point. So you're just like, oh, and then you've got that stumble, and you think, oh, okay. So, but then we had a slightly different drop, like the first time. So after that chorus, it was going into a place where it could have fallen into a grey area, and that's what Fraser T. Smith, the producer on the record, and there was a lovely girl, Carmen Reese, who co-wrote it as well. He said, this has to be Marmite. It has to. It can't. It has to be this or that. It can't be you two come together and it doesn't really go to this. The drop's a bit like it's a leaning to a bit what you already know, and it's a bit. We said, okay, take all of those hats and little fills out and make it go just dark. Just let it be the kick and the bass and just keep and a low format. I know you with just a little reverse reverb. Stumbling, and to be honest, that for me was the key to just like the cement like we taught, that just made it all feel like, okay, we've got something special here.
And that was the thing, I remember chatting to Craig about it a while ago. He was like, I can't wait with this production well, he was saying, I can't wait to drop it in TS5 sets, and I think that was the thing as well, that like, as well as it being exciting to both of us be on a song with each other, to have that moment in the song, I was like, I can't wait to play to my mates, and then I did play to my mates, and they were like, this is wicked, like even friends with who may not have been into the song otherwise were like, this is brilliant, and it just works. I think that's the thing that's really fun and satisfying about putting this out. It feels like to most people that it just feels natural and kind of works. Yeah.
Cool. Now this one is less of a question than a comment. Catty on Facebook says she loves your socks, which are they're giving me a Christmas vibe.
Wow. You know what? It's they say 9:30, and it's there's a venue in DC called the 9:30 Club, and they've just done a really good job of giving socks out to all the bands.
Right, so you're literally marketing a club now,
and t-shirts. So basically, if you're ever at a festival, right, if you're at a festival, you sort of like stumble out of your tour bus, and you'll always see loads of roadies with 9:30, and you sort of know. You've also toured and been to that same place. They're really good at it. They have socks, t-shirts. They give you little cupcakes.
Nice.
They must have just got like some very savvy marketing.
I'm giving up journalism, going into music, and going to get some free cupcakes in Washington. That's a great idea. Yeah. I saw snowflakes there rather than 9:30.
Well, that tells me where your head's at.
Yeah, exactly. Are you a fan of the Christmas jumper?
I haven't rocked one recently, but I'm definitely a fan of the period of time. Like just to get back and see my mum and dad, and everything slows down a little bit. I think that's the most important thing, that like everyone's like rushing, what's the next thing, but this period just everything starts to slow down. You start to get all the stories of when you were a kid and your mum reminds you of certain things, and Home Alone comes on TV and everyone just gets like, yes, when Home Alone's on, you know like Christmas is here.
For me, it's when you see a dog wearing antlers. That's Christmas.
That's true as well.
On Facebook, Lynn.
Or when it snows for 30 seconds.
Yeah,
and
like
all of London shuts down and everyone gets really excited.
Everybody's just got their phone out, standing at their office window, going, "Look, there's 3 flakes of snow."
Yeah.
On Facebook, Lynn has said, "Thanks for making a great tune together, Craig. What is your favourite Bastille song? And Dan, what's your favourite Craig David song?"
Ooh, wow. Do you know what? I mean, Pompeii's fire, but In the Night. Like it, I don't know. It just sort of felt like it was such a good like interpretation of that tune, and Dan's voice is so like.
When we did that, this is really awful, but like that was on one of the first mixtapes that we made, and we did all the songs from memory, and we were using lots of sort of film soundtracks and stuff, and I actually didn't realise that was 2 different songs.
Oh really? What a guy!
No, I just did it, great. Which is really terrible.
You just did a mashup.
Accidentally,
instinct.
yeah.
Wow.
And then obviously went back and listened to it and we're like, this is 2 separate songs. And that's.
But you owned that. So
thank you very much.
I mean, the thing is, I'm a big fan of people's voices. So you've got such a unique voice. That's why being in the studio when we did I Know You, hearing you sing in the vocal booth, I was just like, ooh, I just love hearing someone else singing a melody that I may be singing it, but usually my reference point is myself. But when I hear you singing, and I'm like, oh, what a guy! Seriously, man, that's why I love those records. Man.
Thank you very much. It's very hard to pick a favourite Craig David song. I'm going to say, well, we sort of duetted on a version of like "Fill Me In," which was really fun. I mean, it was like having loved that song for a very long time, and then having to do it in a public space and try and match Craig's flow was kind of terrifying. but
I won't ask you to do it here.
Nah, and I wouldn't. But that was really obviously like 7 Days, Rise and Fall. Like, there's so many songs that just feel like classics. But also, you know, a lot of this, well, all of his new tunes over the last couple of records have been so good, and it's just exciting to have, you know, having Craig's music back on the radio, filling fields at festivals, you know, and he's got the sort of amazing privilege of having an incredible back catalogue, but also he's racking up like new hits and new collaborations, and it made, particularly like Glastonbury, it made for such a good moment, and a series of moments.
No, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Now, Craig, earlier you said the single was the first thing you recorded together, and Tanya on Twitter has asked, is there any chance we'll hear Craig on the 4th Bastille mixtape?
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Well, that's the plan.
Have you got a song in mind? Because quite often you're doing covers on those mixtapes.
Yeah, we're going to leave it as a surprise, but yeah, we did. Craig came to our studio in South London, and we worked on some things, and it should hopefully see the light of day at some point.
There we go. Natasha on Twitter says, what about an acoustic version of the song? And she's posted that with a GIF of SpongeBob SquarePants painting a rainbow, so we know she means it.
I think that would be a great idea, acoustic. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a really brilliant idea.
Okay, let's get on it.
All right, cool.
Let's try this. Who can sing the highest note? Out of the two of you, who's got the biggest range?
This falsetto's high.
Oh. I mean, I'm not gonna. I'm not up for proving it.
No, I'm not. There's definitely the proving thing. You don't have to prove yourself. But I'd say,
I think
your
I
falsetto,
Craig.
having heard you on the record, you hit some notes that were like, okay, but almost
There were
like,
somewhere there were dogs crying or something. Yeah.
You opened the door and there were a pack of hounds just waiting for you. Michelle on Twitter, if you had to get a tattoo, what would it be?
Oh wow. I'd probably go with the title of the new album, The Time Is Now. I'm very or Live in the Moment, one of the two. If I was going that route,
I'd get Craig's face on a chest piece.
Do you know what? It's weird.
Like
that you
the
say
Alan
that.
Partridge.
I was thinking that would be the right move. To just get like to really embody the friendship.
Yeah.
Matching though, you've got to get down on your chest.
I'm gonna have it on the back here, just so we can like really like embrace the force.
Shave your head and have his head on the back of your head, so you can be like one of those
Voldemort
Lego
style,
figures.
yeah.
So the epic moves here.
A tweet from Lil. What's your favourite album of 2017 so far?
Oh wow, favourite album.
I loved Mirror Master's album. I thought it was amazing.
Oh yeah.
Rationale's album I thought was brilliant. There's so many. It's tricky.
Stormzy just got 3 prizes at Mobo's last night.
Stormzy's album.
You were there.
Yeah, Stormzy's album was wicked, and again Fraser T. Smith, who produced I Know You, produced that record as well. So it's like an amazing one for him.
Yeah, it's so good.
AJ Tracy's album, I really loved that this year, and Dave, his records as well. So there's been some really good UK-based stuff that I've loved.
Yeah, it was really interesting to see not just like the Mobos last night representing such a healthy genre in the UK, but then the Grammys.
Yeah.
The nominations came out, and of the top 10 most nominated artists, 9 of them were black or ethnic minority, doing urban music, doing Latin music. It's incredible.
Which is incredible, but also just speaks to like what pop music is at the moment. Like, you know, the radio and the charts in the States, and you know, and here, like hip hop and sort of urban music, if you want to call it that, is just so dominant, and it's so exciting. And as a genre, as a music fan, as a genre, it's pushing things into different places. You know, Kendrick, obviously, to be releasing music at the same time as someone like Kendrick Lamar is just like, you know, it's mind-boggling. To album after album that was just incredible. Like, Damn was just such an amazing piece of work, and it's, you know, hopefully will go away with all the accolades. But equally, you know, I saw Law's also up for record. Yeah, I think that's a really beautiful.
That's a brilliant record.
Such a brilliant album. Such
a clever
conceptually, lyrically, yeah. I don't know. It feels like a good time for music, and obviously the new Jay-Z record as well. But yeah,
no, we share
what he said.
Yeah, pretty much.
We'll wrap up in a couple of seconds. Let's do 3 more. Beverly on Twitter says, "What songs are stuck in your head right now?"
I know this is going to sound like, man, just plug in the tune again. But I promise you, I Know You right now, because it's only just dropped, and like we've been talking about it, and we kind of like it's just been between us. Now it's out there. The fact that I can actually play it on huge sound systems, like when I play it in a TS5 set, I'm there just in awe. I might just jump in the crowd and just, just turn around, just be in it, and then sort of for the drop, and then come back round, and so yeah, it is I Know You right now, and yes,
it's funny that when you're promoting a song, you've got it in your head all the time.
Yeah, how many times a day do you have to sing it? Like when you're doing the video shoot, how many times do you hear the song?
That was on repeat, but then you're hearing it in different ways, so they might play it like
the sped
two
up
times
version.
faster, so you get that kind of, so that's sort of
So you
you
look
get
like
a house
you're singing in
version
slow
real
motion.
quick, and then when exactly, you get when it's slowed back down, it's like, ooh.
And that's one of the weird things about shooting a video. They're like, right, mate, you've got to look cool, and obviously I'm not naturally remotely cool, so look cool, but also sing it like a chipmunk at double the speed. You're like, all right, my tiny brain can't really compute any of what you just said, but I'm gonna try. But it's that song is definitely lodged at the moment.
Yeah.
Charlotte on Facebook, what inspired the lyric "Carrying the world is overrated"?
That was, you know what? I remember I was chatting to Fraser, who is someone that I've respected and wanted to work with for ages, and I turned around and they sort of broke in the back of the second verse, Carmen and Craig, and I was like, oh, that's really great. I was like, can I sing that? And that's part of what's so nice about collaborating is that like writing sessions. I'm someone who, with Bastille's music, I've always kind of written it myself and co-produced it, so it's quite a kind of closed off process. And as we've sort of like grown and developed, it's been really fun getting to try out co-writing with and for other people, and when a session is good, because believe me, there are a lot of not that much. There can be sessions that aren't that much fun, and they can be tricky. Sometimes people aren't in the mood or whatever. But when one's good, and this particular day, everyone was in a really good mood. Yeah. We all wanted to make something special, and when you've got the concept of what the song's about, it just kind of flowed really easily. And I feel like all four of us really contributed quite a lot. Yeah. In a really good way, and and it's really nice. I think it speaks to how quickly we got this track done.
Yeah.
It's a very last one. Do you have a secret handshake? And if you don't, can you make one up now?
Wow. I haven't up until the date.
There you go.
We came with a little.
There you go. Classic.
Yeah, that's classic. We don't want to complicate things.
Tried and tested.
That's brilliant.
Do you want to teach us one?
I don't know any.
Okay.
I'm the least
Next
skilled person
time,
in
next
this room,
time.
let's face it. Thank you very much, Craig. Dan.
Thank you for having us.
Great
Really
single.
cheers,
Thank you
mate.
very much for taking so
Thank
much time. Thank you to everyone who sent in a question and who tuned into the Facebook Live. We'll be back again soon.